What's up guys, it's Josh from Keep It Techie, and today I wanted to do a quick video showing you guys Manjaro 21. Now, I'm real excited about this review. I'll be looking at Manjaro 21, which is kind of one of my favorite Linux distributions that are out there. It's Arch based, which is why I actually like it. And it's been around for a while. It's very stable, and it's a good distribution for new users that are trying to get into Linux. And I definitely recommend this for anybody that wants to start playing around with the Linux operating system. Manjaro is super simple to install and get set up and running on your system. And they just released last month Manjaro 21. The last one I reviewed was Manjaro 18, which was at the beginning of last year, like February sometime last year. I'll probably link that video up here so you guys can check that out as well. But it's pretty much the same. I know most people want to look at the latest and greatest, and Manjaro 21 is the latest and greatest release that they have. But a few things about this operating system: it actually comes with a whole bunch of desktop environments. It comes with XFCE, GNOME, as well as KDE Plasma, and they also have a whole bunch of other desktop environments that can be installed on this operating system. But I just wanted to kind of talk about those big three that are typically used by a lot of people. Now, you guys know I'm an XFCE fan, so I downloaded the XFCE version for this demonstration just to show you guys how to install it and what the actual desktop environment actually looks like. But the version of XFCE that was actually put into this release is 4.16. So that's the version that they actually have with all the updates, the Thunar file manager, where you can kind of, some of you guys may have seen it, but you can pause like transfers, like you're making copies and stuff. You could pause and resume file transfers. That's one of the big things that they, changes that they made or whatever. And then it also comes with the KDE Plasma version of 5.21. So you guys may want to look into that, because it also has a lot of the updated features that come with that version of KDE Plasma. And then lastly, it comes with GNOME 3.38. So for all you GNOME people out there, or you people that like the GNOME desktop environment, it has one of the most recent releases of GNOME that you can get. Now let's go on and go over to the distro watch page. I always like to show you guys that, so for anybody that's new, they can see what Manjaro is all about. So let's get started. Okay, cool. So this is DistroWatch. This is one of the websites that I typically look at to track different distributions that are out there right now. And Manjaro right now, because you guys should know that on DistroWatch's page, on their main page, on the right hand side, they have a list of the top 50 distributions that are out there, and it's all based on the amount of people that click on the websites. And Manjaro is number 2 on that list. So let's read a little bit about it. I just want to show you guys, but it says OS type Linux, is based on Arch. The origin is France, so that's super cool. The architecture AR64, and then x86 64, and then the desktop. And like I stated earlier, it has a whole bunch of desktop environments you can install using Manjaro. They have awesome, window manager, BS, PWM. I don't know that window manager, BSP window manager. Then they have Budgie. They have Cinnamon. You can install GNOME, like I stated, i3, KDE Plasma, LXQT, and then Mate, OpenBox, and then good old XFCE. So that's on there as well. And in the category, it says desktop live media. You can install on Raspberry Pi too. They have a Raspberry Pi version that you can actually download and install on a Raspberry Pi, which is super cool. So all you guys that have those single board computers, the Raspberry Pis, they do have a version for you for Manjaro. So You can install that, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think it comes with the XFCE desktop because it's fairly lightweight. But the popularity is 2, as it says right there, and like I stated, it goes off of the hits. So it depends on how many people are actually hitting the website, hitting that download button. I'm assuming is what they actually look at when they track the hits. I'm assuming that's based on the amount of times people actually click the download button. But anyway, it says Manjaro Linux is fast, user-friendly, desktop-oriented operating system based on Arch Linux. Key features include intuitive installation process, automatic hardware detection, stable rolling release model, ability to install multiple kernels, special bash scripts for managing graphics drivers, and extensive desktop configurability. Manjaro Linux offers XFCE as the core desktop option, as well as KDE GNOME and a minimalist net editions for more advanced users. It says community supported desktop flavors are also available. So that's all those other window managers and the other versions or desktop that are out there you can install on here. And then below that, you'll see all the links or whatever. And I'm gonna go to the website as well. Well, I already have it open, but at manjaro.org. So I already have it open in another tab. But this is Manjaro right here. This is where you go to actually download it. I won't read any more on here because DistroWatch basically explains everything on their page. But this is basically where you go to download it. You just click right there, and it'll go to the download, and then you can choose your edition. They got the XFCE 21.02, they got the KDE Plasma 21.02 and the GNOME version, and that's pretty much it on the main website. And I already have the ISO downloaded, so let's go down and get to the install now. And one thing about it, it uses the Calamaris installer, which is super simple to install the operating system. So let's get to that right now. Okay, cool. So I already have my virtual machine built. I don't have anything installed yet. I'm actually booted into the ISO. I gave this virtual machine 8 gigabytes of memory, as well as 2 cores. That's all it pretty much needs. I'm really giving it kind of overkill. I could have given 1 core and it'll run fine. I also gave it 32 gigabytes of drive space just to do the install on. I'm gonna delete this thing after the fact, so it doesn't matter. But I just wanted to show you guys what it'll show up when you first boot into it. But this is the grub menu, so to speak. And they have 2 options. Well, you can go through and change some of this up. This is showing the time zone, keyboard, language, and then what you want to do is boot with open source drivers, or you can boot with proprietary drivers. So that's pretty much your 2 options. You don't have to really mess with any of this. As long as it applies to you, you're good to go. But then you can go on and press the enter key, or it'll actually move past this and automatically select the open source drivers if you let it go. I just kind of stopped it. But let's go on and boot this thing up, and then we're gonna go through the installation, and I'll be back when it pops up. Okay, cool. So we are at the desktop environment. It's kind of cut off at the bottom. You don't see the start menu, but there is a start menu down there. I'm gonna fix the resolution in a little bit, but it doesn't matter for this case. I'm just going through the installer right now. Okay, so I corrected the resolution right fast, but just so you guys can see a little better. But anyway, when you boot into the operating system, this is the first thing that'll pop up. It basically says welcome to Manjaro, and then what you can do right here is just launch the installer. But they have documentation right here. They got a wiki, readme, they got support information right here, they got a forum board, discover software, mailing list, and then the project as well. You can get involved, you can actually help. If you're a programmer, you can go through and actually help with the project, especially if you go into the development portion. And then the donate button, which I always recommend you donate to open source projects, because most of these people work for free, and they get paid for their contributions based on your donations. So that helps with keeping the project going. So you always want to, support by donating to them. But anyway, social media links right here. But if this doesn't pop up, which it should pop up on the ISO, then they do have a shortcut to open this if it doesn't pop up. But let's go on and launch the installer and go through the process. And like I stated, this is the Calamaris installer. Super simple. All you have to do is follow the steps. There are some areas, that'll require you to, kind of think if you want to adjust your partitions or create your partition tables a certain way. If you want your home directory on a different partition from your operating system, if you're installing this directly on hardware, then you have those options in here. But other than that, it's pretty much the next. Right here is just selecting your location. You can do that, hit next, select your keyboard, and then that's fine. We can hit next. Then here is the drives. You can modify the drives. You can select whatever device you want it installed on, which is it automatically select the main drive for this virtual machine. And then also you can erase the disk. You can do the manual partition if you want to. You can also adjust your swap, which I'm gonna do swap to file, and then also the bootloader down here. And don't let me forget, but the encryption, you can encrypt the system right from here as well. So master boot record, you want that installed on the main partition, that's fine. And then let's go down here next. I'm just putting everything on one drive or a partition. So let's go on and type in our name, and then I'm gonna just say Manjaro for the computer name 21, and then let's go on and type in our super strong password, and we type it in twice. Boom. And then we can use that same password for the administrator account just to make it simple, and then hit next. And then here's the summary, just goes through everything that we selected. You can see that it creates using MS-DOS, and then the partition table itself, and then it creates the file system in ext4. It'll flag that ext4 as the boot partition, and then install Manjaro, and then install a bootloader at that same location. So let's go down and hit install. But that's pretty much everything we selected through all these different tabs. Now it shouldn't take too long. I'll be back when it actually completes, but that's basically the installation process. So that just shows you how simple the installation is with this Calamaris installer that they have nowadays. Now I'll be back when this actually finishes. All right, cool. So we are done with the install. I'm gonna go down and reboot the system. Pretty much all you have to do is click this little button right here that says restart now, and just hit done, and it'll go through the reboot process. And I'll be back when the system is up. All right, cool. So we are at the login screen, and I just wanted to show you guys the login screen. This is basically what it looks like. It's no different from the last version of Manjaro. So let's go down and log into it right fast. Let's type my super strong passwords, and boom. And I'll actually fix the desktop right fast. So I'll be back in a second. All right, cool. So we're logged into the operating system. It says, hello, welcome to Manjaro. This is basically just like the install screen that popped up as soon as we, hopped into the live environment using the USB or the ISO. Exact same thing. The only thing, it doesn't have the launch installer down here. So one cool thing about it, like I said, it has all that information right here. As soon as you pop up, you can actually turn this launcher off, so it doesn't pop up every time you log into the system. So just by turning this off right here, you can get to go. But you can always open it back up. There is the hello screen shortcut under the start menu, I know for sure. So you should be able to open this up again if you turn this off and you're wondering how to actually turn that back on. Then you can go into the start menu and you can find it. But I'm gonna go down and close it. And the first thing you want to do when you install a new operating system is to update it. You want to make sure you have all the updates. And from what I've seen, it gave us a lot of alerts basically saying that we have some updates. You can update them or upgrade them, you know, as needed. I'm not going to upgrade them right now because I don't want it to take too long, but they do have some updates, like for instance, Mozilla 87.0-2. There's an update to 88.0-01.1, and then Thunderbird has an update as well. So since this ISO has released, there has been updates, and that's one cool thing about Arch Linux, or Arch Linux based distributions. They get updates on the regular. They're constantly pushing out updates, you know what I'm saying? And so you get updates quicker than a lot of other distributions. It's a little bit slower for Manjaro versus full-blown Arch, because a lot of times they go through their kind of vetting process before they release it within the Manjaro repositories. But on main Arch, you get those updates as soon as, you know, the update is available within that Arch repository, so that main Arch repository. But that's pretty much how you check your alerts. It'll pop up here on the right, but let's go through this thing. The first thing over here on the right hand side, this basically shows you, or it's basically a button for you to shut down the system. And they have to log out, you can restore it, you can shut down, you can switch users, hybrid sleep, you can hibernate and suspend. But let's go down and close that, cancel that. But then the next thing is a calendar, and you know, it has your date, time, and if you click on it, it brings up that calendar. If you right click on it, you can go to the properties, and that's with anything on the panel. I've been using XFC for a long time, so I know how to actually, you know, go through and do this stuff real quick. But as you can see, it automatically updated my time, date, and all that stuff based on my location. So super cool. Then we have our volume settings, and then right here is a MSM notifier. So it's a notifier for your text messages if you have your phone connected to your Manjaro desktop. And then right here is the paperclip. So that's for things that you copy. Anytime you copy something, it'll keep a record of all your copies and show you the history. So if you need to go get a copy of something that you copied off of a website or something, it has a history of it and it keeps track of it. And then you can go into the Clipman settings and change those settings if you need to for any of the options that they have for it. Then right here is the network settings. So you can set up, you can connect to VPNs if you have one, you know, set it up and all that good stuff. And that's cool that it actually comes with probably OpenVPN on here, so you can install your certs and go down and get started with your VPN connections by adding them here. And then the next thing was those alerts like I showed you, but right next to that is our different desktops. So let's say we open up file system here, and if we click right here, this is a different desktop. We can open up the trash bin over here and then switch back and forth. You got your browser open over here watching a movie or something or whatever, you know. So that's your switcher, and you can actually add more desktops here. See workplace workspace settings. You can go in here and actually add more workspaces. So I'm gonna make it 4 right fast so you guys can actually see, but you got 4 different workspaces. So super cool. Right here is basically the show desktop. So if you have like a bunch of stuff open on your desktop, and I'm gonna just show you guys that right fast. Just got 2 things open, hit that, it'll minimize everything. Hit it again, it'll bring it right back. And this is in a lot of more modern day desktop environments. They have something like this, unless you're using like a window manager or something like that. Now let's go down and close that, but I'm gonna leave this one open because the next thing I was gonna go to was the file manager or file explorer. Just show you guys, it does have Thunar 4.16.6. Thunar is a fast and easy to use file manager for the XFCE desktop environment. So that's on here. It comes with all your standard folders. You got your desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures, all that good stuff. You can just kind of copy over your home directory if you already have those folders. If you stored your home directory in a different location, you backed it up somewhere, and you want to recover all your stuff for your home directory, then you can just copy and paste it in here. Good to go. And let's go on and close that. But I won't go through all the applications. If you've seen me do videos on XFCE, you've probably seen all these applications. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense for me to go through all these different applications, but you got your typical terminal. And for people that are new to Arch, it uses the pacman command when it comes to updates. So I'm gonna run the command right fast, but I'm gonna cancel it. But sudo pacman -syu is what you do to update the system. Now, if you have Yay installed on here, which is for AUR packages, or if you have the AUR packages enabled, then to where you can install packages from the AUR, which is the Arch user repository. If you don't know, then you can run the Yay dash capital SYU, and you can update the system that way. But pacman is the standard package manager for Arch Linux, which is what you'll use on Manjaro. Now let's go down and exit this out. But you could do all your updates from the actual software center. So let me show you guys that. If you guys don't know, I think it's under accessories. I'm not 100% sure. Might be under settings. Let's go to settings, and then, or it might be under system. Oh yeah, here we go. Add remove software. So if you click on that, that'll open up that software center, and this will show you everything that's actually installed on the system, and that's why it has a remove button next to it that lets you know it's installed. And you can sort this thing. You can show it in groups. You can view different categories. So they got photos, music, all that good stuff. The relevance, you could change the relevance as well. And then right here, if you click right here under install, this will show you all the applications that are installed, which we can kind of look through this right fast just so you guys can see what's all on here. Audacious is on here, which is a music player. I've played around with that in the past. Bluetooth Manager, Blueman, Bulk Renamer. Ooh, I love that actual application. It's great to use something like that when you're updating a whole bunch of files or folders. You could change the names, and I'm sorry, files. It's specifically made for files. So let's say you have I don't know, you could have a TV show collection, and let's say you're trying to rename them to make them more uniform. Then the Bulk Renamer tool is super cool because you can use like little scripts, like if then statements within Bulk Renamer, and it'll remove based on whatever you tell it to look for, and remove it from the actual files in the list that you have. And then you can see a preview before you actually run the command. So that's super cool. Check out Bulk Renamer. That's super cool that's on here. Catfish, that's the searching tool. Clipman, which is on here, like what I showed you guys on the desktop. It comes with Firefox, and as you can see, it needs that update. So it's not 88.0-0.1, it's the 7 something, and we'll open that up in a second. I'll open that up so you guys can see it, the actual version. And then it's cool that it comes with GIMP, and pretty much all your standard applications are installed on here. So we are good to go. Now let me go down and close this right fast. And one thing I wanted to do is open up the web browser right fast so you guys can see the version of Firefox. So if we go to the hamburger, then go to more, or help, it's under help, I think, about Firefox, and that tells you the version is 87.0. But it does still need that update, unless it did it in the background, which I don't think so. I don't think it updated yet. I gotta push upgrade, but yeah, it'll get to 88 once I update it. But that's pretty much it for this operating system. Like I said, I didn't want to go too deep into it. As far as just messing around with it, changing things up, it's good to see time shift here as well. Time shift is one of the other things, and this is what I was talking about, that Manjaro Hello. That's that tool that'll pop up as soon as you log into the system. So let's say you turn it off. I told you it was under the start menu, so you're good to go if you ever need it again once you turn it off. And then just show you guys, you can go through and actually change the desktop environment, change the wallpapers, not change the desktop environment, but change the wallpapers, you know, make it look a little different, switch it up, you know, all that good stuff. Play around with it. You can even put it on random, where it just it goes through random backgrounds, you know, every couple minutes. You can click right here, change the background every 10 minutes, or you can change it to 5 minutes, whatever. But super cool, you know, real solid distribution. Like I said, it's very stable, it's Arch based, so it's worth it to check out, especially if you're interested in Arch and you're not ready to install full-blown Arch. Then it's best to try Manjaro or one of the other Arch distributions, so you can kind of get the hang of how to use our Arch Linux distribution, because it's different than using Ubuntu or Debian or CentOS or any of those other different distributions. Arch is totally different, you know what I'm saying? And so you want to get used to actually using it before you actually install it on your hardware. So definitely do it in a virtual machine, that way you can get the hang of it and, you know, check it out for yourself. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave comments down in the comment boxes below. And if you could do me a huge favor and share the video, I'm really trying to get my channel, you know, put in front of a little bit more eyes. So if you can, just share the channel for me. I definitely appreciate it. But I hope you guys have a good night and keep it techie.